Welcome back, and now we're going to dive into the topic of mental health burnout. So burnout is not just being tired, it's mental, emotional and physical exhaustion. One of the most powerful lines that I've heard recently on burnout that actually brought up so much negative feelings for me was, "We can't burn out, we're not candles," on the Diary of a CEO podcast. It's simple, but it's not that simple to say that. So 77% of women report feeling burnt out in the last year, and women are twice as likely to burn out and experience emotional exhaustion as men. So ladies, first of all, did you agree with me on the candle line? Do you agree that women or anyone can burn out?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
definitely.
Okay, well, that's an easy one. So what do you think the early signs of burnout are, and what are the signs that women in particular tend to ignore?
I do think that your body tells you way before, and we are so either conditioned or resilient. I don't know which one, but unfortunately we ignore those signs and we ignore those signs. So we don't pay attention, and then those signals get a bit louder, and perhaps you might start getting a bit anxious, a bit headachy, palpitations. You might be struggling with sleep or feeling particularly tired, and this is all coming before your body goes, "We are burnt out," and then it's like, it's not too late, hopefully it's not too late, but you were much more poorly after that than you could have been if you'd listened earlier. So it's really hard, because unfortunately our lifestyles these days make us just carry on and carry on and carry on and ignore it, and I'd be guilty of that, absolutely. But I think we're physically told a lot sooner.
Yeah. I think everyone's body's different. Like, I know my body, you can physically see, like, my skin, for example, my face. I'm like, "Oh, you're a bit stressed." So I think everyone's body's different in how they are screaming for the help, if that makes sense. But I do agree, they're always ignored.
Yeah, same. Yeah, my jaw will go, my stomach will get really bloated, my periods might go out of a line, so all these things. And these are literally the symptoms I'm describing to you.
I was going to say, this
last
is what you
week.
said,
I know,
you were feeling,
I am
wasn't it,
very
last
much
Yeah.
on the verge of burnout, and I'm also a serial overloader. So if I'm starting to feel out of control or burnt out, I then create myself lots more chaos and tasks to do, because
that's interesting.
And you do that too, I've noticed.
Oh.
Yeah. So you'll be like, "I'm overwhelmed. Let's decorate the lounge."
True, yeah.
So, and
Let's record a brand new series in a month.
yes, yeah. So these things just
Yeah.
happen because you start to feel wobbly, and you think, "Oh, right, I'll latch onto that because that will make me feel better," or "I need to create a nicer environment at home," and it just becomes about the extra stuff you can do to make yourself feel good, rather than going, "Oh, just need to stop." So I definitely tried to stop more last year, but I'm not a pro, as you can
No.
And don't you find as well, it's usually after you've come out of that time that you realise how bad it was. It's really hard to see it in it, but really easy to see it when you get out of it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think women in particular worship at the altar of being busy, and productivity is a badge of honour. How productive we've been measures my happiness sometimes, which is wrong. I'm not going to pretend I'm the guru in this episode. I'm going to speak for the women who I'm pretty sure are similar to me, which is, I love being productive. I don't like coming off my own treadmill, because I think of all the things I was meant to do that I now haven't. And of course that could lead to burnout, but it's a tough choice to make at the time, because I think there's a fine line between looking after yourself and being lazy. I'm just going to say it. And so I get more stuff done because I do sometimes opt for that, but that is also my downfall, because at times my body is saying it's not lazy, it's self-care. At all to come in as an expert here, but I think I speak on behalf of a lot of women who probably do feel the same as me. Tamu Thomas, have you heard of this wonderful woman?
Yeah.
Okay, so Tamu Thomas talks beautifully about reframing ambition, and she says that her ambition has changed after she went through burnout to be a well-rested woman. And there's something so beautiful about that, and so triggering as someone that is running hard and definitely not having that in my frame of ambition. But so many women are like me and still believe that slowing down means falling behind. So how do you think we start unlearning the idea that burnout is the price of success?
Yeah, when you think about what success looks like to you, you have to think about how you're going to feel, because you can have things, right? But at what cost? So I definitely think that started to come into my consciousness as success also means being healthy. Because the minute you lose your health, my gosh, do you want it back?
Yeah.
But we take it for granted, right? So health and rest all comes into one. But I think what we are playing a game right now, which is so difficult, particularly as women, where we are in this 1950s role of mother running households. Even if we share some of that load, the mental load is there, whilst being modern day ambitious women, plus there's an external pressure for potentially 2 incomes into the household. So you have got to be running these careers on the most part, you know, can't ever speak for everybody. And we are doing all of this. And it's like, what a blessing we are to be these modern women. But my God, you're going to drop some balls. And unfortunately, I mean, I would say I'm dropping balls left, right and centre, but I'm also successful in many ways. And I'm just trying to work out each day and each week what that looks like. And I think the landscape is impossible, so we need to change the way it's supposed to look because we can't do that.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree with everything that you've said. I think it is tough now, but I think we have to protect ourselves and see ourselves as an important person. And I've learnt this about myself in the last year, where it is just me and the kids now. There's no backup. So if I burn out, then what? So I have a duty to myself and my family not to. So now I do prioritise rest and self-care. People do have to wait a bit longer sometimes for me to do things, and that's okay, because no one's going to die if I don't do these things, you know. So you've got to reframe that sometimes. And I think because I know I'm a chaos creator, I do have to measure that. And it's taken everything in me not to paint my office that I hate, you know, just because I don't like the colour of it, when really it doesn't matter. It's a functioning office. It's absolutely fine. It will get done. Just wait a few months, you know. So be kind to yourself and prioritise your own health and happiness.
Yeah.
It's like they say you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly
isn't it?
that,
So,
yeah.
They do always say that, but I just don't know how to fill the cup and keep pouring. You know, like that is... I try and do the things. So whether that's going on a retreat for a day or taking myself away for a couple of nights, it's not that simple. That the pouring of the cup and the overflowing, you know, this metaphor that you can't pour from an empty cup, you need to be overflowing, then you can give it. Oprah is one of my favourite people, and she says this all the time, and I'm always like, just tell me how to fill it though, because everything is still moving, whether you like it or not. And I can't stand still long enough for it to get full. It just depletes every time it sort of marginally goes up and down. I mean, is this just me?
I think you see these other things, though, as a tick box, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
I'm doing my self-care tick, and I'm doing this thing, tick, and I'm doing this thing.
I was hearing doing.
Yes, that's what I heard.
Creating space, good, but you're doing
I'm like,
so.
come on.
You're,
Yeah,
but
this
I
is my
did
time.
the thing that was supposed to rest me, so now why aren't I rested?
Yes, come on.
I've come to a retreat in my
ticked
business
off.
attire.
Yeah.
Why aren't I rested?
I ticked it off.
That's your retreat.
Okay, fine.
So sometimes, Sarah, we just have to stop. And you just have to turn all the noise off, and you know all the cogs are whirring and things are still happening, and you just have to stop.
Okay,
Or your-
guys, I
your
will
cor-
see you soon. Shelley has told me.
Your courses doesn't finish after one day. Like, great that you created space. That was a little bit towards it. Then do it again. Then do it again. Consistency. Like, you're consistent with so much stuff. It feels like we're just going in at you now, but you're representing all these women. But yeah, like consistently give yourself space.
Yeah. All right, I will try. So if burnout is this common and this invisible, what actually helps stop it?
Oh, repeat what I just said. Consistently giving yourself space.
Okay.
Yeah.
So small, realistic steps.
I had a reading, and she said to me, she said, I was very much in my masculine energy. I was working like a man because I was literally just trying to get stuff done, like, quick, I've got to do all these things. And she said, you've got to stop trying to get to the end of something before you allow yourself to have fun or a rest. She said, at some point, you can just...
Oh, I felt that so deep.
I know, well, so did I. Because I was like,
wanna...
I've just got to get to the weekend. I've just got to finish this task. I've just got to do this thing, you know, and then I'm allowed to have some fun. And she said, joy and fun is in everything that you do, and you need to find it. So,
oh, that's profound. Yeah. Well, this is perfect because a viewer question said, I feel burnt out, but I keep telling myself just get through this week. I've been saying it for 6 months. How do I break the cycle?
Just stop.
Yeah, leaning into that though as well. There's rest, which is, you're typically like a retreat day or a rest day. But rest also comes from restoring fun and joy and soulful activities. And I am a self-proclaimed queen of hobbies, but I always have done, because to me, that's how I restore.
That's your rest.
Life will not
Right.
feel, I wouldn't get the spark and the energy to carry on if I didn't fuel it with things like that light me up and spark my joy. And for me, that's like performing arts and things like that. But it could be anything. It could be your art, it could be a book, it could be a walk, it could be a whatever. And I think, find the fun. I'm about to go into like Mary Poppins song. I won't, because I'll save you all from that.
You on the verge of breaking out.
It created in my head the job's a dream. But I'll save that.
But you're right, and I like that. That sounds productive. It's productive restoration. It's recharging, not resting.
Yeah.
Recharging your drained, burnt out battery with restoration in a different way.
Feeding your soul.
Yes, and like, I think that leans into a little bit like these gratitude journeys. Like if you don't know what you're, if you just feel like you've got to keep getting to the end of the week, I know I've started mine again. They're just picking out even one bit of the day, like, actually, I really enjoyed doing that. And then you'll keep doing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think there is method in the madness. But
What
then
is
what
the
fills
best
my
part
cup
of your day?
is going to be different to you.
Yeah.
But yours could be singing, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Could be singing or poker. I love my
Yeah.
Tuesday night
And so
poker.
good that you've started that.
Yeah, but I go to bed really late on a Tuesday now
But
because
you
of
don't
that.
feel
I
that
don't.
bothered by that, no.
No.
And
But I
also
love it.
asking a really overworked sensitive nervous system to rest because you scheduled it in that Tuesday doesn't work. Like
No.
creating the space for it, great, but then you've got restoration comes in many, many forms.
But also sleep. I think sleep's a really important habit that we often overlook, and we compromise on our sleep to fit something else in, whether that be work, children, just a bit of me time, a bit of doom scrolling, whatever it is. But actually going to bed early, waking up and feeling rested, getting out in the daylight, just these simple things are all just good for you. So I think when you neglect yourself again, it's really difficult to kind of propel yourself to any next level, isn't it?
I think as well with the sleeping as well, I know that sleeping, eating healthy, just doing a little workout or something like that is sometimes people say it's, you're treating yourself. And it's like, these are just the basic functions to be a better person. So I'm not going to feel guilty. For having a shower.
Yourself to that cleanliness. Okay, so a recent study showed that 64% of women didn't realise they were burnt out until their physical health began to decline. Headaches, insomnia, we just said about sleep, anxiety, emotional numbness. So for women right at the beginning of burnout recovery, let's give them one thing you think will actually help. Not loads of things, because that's overwhelming in itself, and then you end up just grabbing another chocolate bar and staying, in the same pattern of behaviour. So what's one thing that can actually help?
Go to bed. Just literally. Honestly, most things are solved by a good night's sleep, aren't they? So, and actually, if you're completely overwhelmed and burnt out, take the kids to school and go to bed. Just give yourself a few hours.
In bed like this?
Well, that's
Heart racing.
Well, you said I was only allowed to give one thing.
I know, but I'm just challenging you.
No, well, okay. So if there's more than, then you can write down your thoughts to get them out of your head. Give yourself some quiet space and time. So whether that be a bath with candles or a quiet walk, just it is that self-care level where you just bring it down, and you've got to get everything that's whirring around. And I'm one of these people. You can see it whirs in me all the time. Sometimes you just got to get it out and stop. And for me, I do that. Look, go to bed, give myself Reiki, just have that quiet and calm, and recharge, and then I can go again.
Alone time. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to say nature and daylight, because go for a walk. If you're surrounded by woods, lovely. The seafront, lovely. Even a local park. You've got to get some daylight. Got to get some fresh air. And there's such a beautiful simplicity to nature that sometimes just noticing it, take a little look and notice the colours, the shapes, and bring yourself back where you can.
I probably would have said similar to what Gemma said, but just to give another alternative is to just do something completely different. Call a friend. I know that when I'm sitting at my desk and I'm really buried in, no matter how much I'm working or how quick I'm working, I'm almost going slower because I can't see the other side. So I think sometimes when I've walked away, gone for a walk, called a friend, come back, it almost feels lighter.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So just distract yourself with something completely different. Even for 5 minutes, it will feel better.
And just to add to that, I think we're all very guilty of trying to multitask too many things at once.
Yeah.
And if you just think about your desk, you know, how many tabs have you got open? How many pads have you got with how many lists going on? Just strip it all back. Do exactly that, but then just focus on one thing.
One task at a
Get
time.
it done and then do another one
that's
instead of
good.
being on the phone doing this, waiting
That's
for that.
very good. Close some of the tabs down.
Yeah, definitely.
I also feel like playing with my kids is a good escapism for me. If I do a bit of role play, stick on my American accent, go into role play mode, that helps. Or working out. I've never regretted a workout. I've never worked out and then afterwards gone, wish I didn't do that. Like always feel elevated, but it's just getting it done, isn't it? Although is that the opposite? Is that burning out? Come on,
No,
get it
not
done.
if it's restoring you.
Yeah.
'Cause it's not about energy out necessarily. It's about, is it also bringing energy in?
So burnout is real.
Yeah.
We are not candles, that is true. We can all see that. But it's not that simple. Human beings are complex and burnout looks different from one person to the next. And I know that there's much more extreme burnouts than what we've described here. People actually completely stopping functioning, stopping working, having to be really, really medically helped professionally to come out of that. An incredible woman that I watched talk suffered from a heart attack in New York on a business trip, and that was the most powerful talk. We went to it together.
That was amazing.
Slow the F down, wasn't it? I'm not going to say the word. But Slow the F Down is an incredible resource as well to just really wake you up that no one is coming to save you. That's the biggest thing. We are grown-up women and we have to save ourselves. And as friends, we can nudge, but you are the only person that knows you. You're the only person that can change things. And you get to choose. If you want to be burnt out, you go right ahead. I'm talking to myself. If you want to carry on, you can. But everyone's different. So what one person is capable of achieving in a day is different to someone else, and that's okay. So it's also about not comparing as well, right?
Yeah,
Just
because you know who is making you be burnt out.
Yeah.
Is you. Nobody else can do that to you.
And there's a difference between being motivated and purpose-driven and burnt out, but only you truly know that.
Like the ninja, you can be really, really effective.
Yeah.
But like with this sense of like Zen, that's what that's what I would consider success. I'm not there yet.
Ninja with the Zen.
Yeah, so like totally effective and productive, but like have that Zen energy where I'm like really balanced as well. That's my success.
What's like one person out there in the public domain that you think has it right?
I don't think you can
anyone
answer
does.
that because you don't know their
But
life.
who looks like they've got it right? Come on, give me a perception. I want something for my mood board. Okay.
How would we ever know that?
Answers on a postcard, I think, isn't
It's
it?
on a postcard. Well, if you
Leave
know
it in the chat.
a remarkable woman that's out there showing you how you want to live life, put a comment in, please, so that we can on our mood board. I want it on my vision board. No?
I don't like this.
No, fine. You know what? Fine. I don't think I've quite got this yet, but thank you so much for joining us for this episode of M's the Word, where women talk and the world listens. And we want to hear from you. We want this to be a conversation back and forth. You don't just have to listen to us. We want to hear from you as well. So put your comments in, show us your thoughts. What do you do when you feel burnt out? Thank you so much for listening. Join us next time.